Good to be with you. Y'all are early. Let's get started. We're going to do some extra stuff since y'all are so early. It's good to be with you. My name's Lucas Miller, and I'm going to teach y'all a little bit about animals and science. Do I have any animal lovers out there? Anybody like animals? Good. Good to see it. I've always loved critters, and I got interested in them when I was a little bitty. When I went to college, I studied the science of animals, which is called zoology. Now, I thought about becoming a scientist, but I really ended up becoming a science teacher because I found that something else that I love, which is music, could help me teach. And so I call myself the singing zoologist. Now, hopefully you guys will have a good time and learn a little bit. Try to remember 3 really simple rules. Number 1, stay seated flat in your chairs. Okay? That way everybody can see. Try not to bang or kick on things unless you shouldn't have to do that. So try to keep those hands and feet still. Number 2, keep your hands and feet to yourselves. Keep your elbows and kneecaps to yourselves. Keep your eyebrows and earlobes to yourselves. Whatever you have, try to just keep it to yourself so we're not annoying the people around us. And last but not least is let's try to have one person talking at a time. Now, there will be times that I want you to call something out or sing out. If I want you to call something out, I'm going to go like that. Okie dokie? All right. If I want you to sing something out, I'll tell you what to sing. Otherwise, try to keep those voices off. At the end of the show, I think we'll have time for a few questions. So if there's something at the end you want to know, then feel free to raise up your hands. But during the show, hang on to those questions so I can keep it moving. It's a lot more fun if I don't stop every time my hand pops up. Okay? Now, I will be asking you to call some things out from time to time and sing along. If I want you to call something out, I'm going to go like that. Okie dokie? You catch on quick. Otherwise, try to keep those voices off. If something's funny, feel free to laugh, but try not to start chatting with the people around you about it. That's what happens a lot. Something funny happens, and then you want to talk to your friend next door to you, but try to save that. Having said that, I think we are ready to get it rolling here. Let us go ahead and start off with a little song about the different things that animals eat. Some of them eat meat. Those guys are called carnivores. Yes, that is exactly right. Carnivores eat meat. Some animals don't eat meat. They just eat plants. They're called herbivores, all right? If you look at these words, you'll notice they both end in ivore. That means eater, okay? And an herb is like a tasty leaf, okay? That word means leaf eater. Guess what insectivores eat? Insects, that's right. They eat insects. That word means insect eater. Sometimes you can come across a new science word, but you can figure out what it means if you just look for parts that you recognize. I think most of you know what an insect is. Omnivores are animals that'll eat just about anything. They'll eat meaty stuff, they'll eat plant stuff, they might eat some bug stuff too. Yeah. Most of us are omnivores, probably don't eat bugs, but you'll eat meaty stuff and plant stuff. If you don't know those words already, got a little song for you. Oh yeah. It was a beautiful day. I headed down to the zoo. I took a walk around for an hour or two. Well, I got hungry. I saw a Tex-Mex food stand. I was happy because I am a chimichanga fan. That's when they take a big tortilla and they stuff it with the stuff you like. Then they drop it in a big deep fryer till it's fried up just right. It's fried up just right. That's supposed to be a big tortilla, okay? I got in line like I'm supposed to do. But ahead of me, I saw a kangaroo and a snake and a frog. You can't imagine my surprise when the frog hopped right up and said with a gleam in his eye, a gleam in his eye, I'm an insectivore. He's an insectivore. Give me what I adore. What do you adore? I want some bugs in my chimichanga. make a yo-manga. Like some spiders and some beetles and a big cockroacheroo. They're so tasty and delicious and nutritious too. I want some bugs in my chimichanga. Make a yo-manga. Anybody want a bite of that? I got some restaurants I can recommend. The frog hopped off and found a seat with his deep-fried flies. He started to eat, and then the snake slithered up with a smile and a hiss and ordered her order. It went something like this, or something like this. I'm a carnivore.
She's a carnivore.
Give me what I adore.
What do you adore?
I want some meat in my chimichanga. Make a yo-manga. Or like some mousies and some birdies in a great big ranaroo. They're so tasty, delicious, and nutritious too. I want some meat in my chimichanga. Make a yo-manga. Which end should we begin with? The snake slithered off with her fuzzy-wuzzy dish, and it was Kangaroo's turn to declare her wish. With slobber and drool dripping down off her chin, she hopped right on up and she said with a grin, I'm a herbivore.
She's a
So smart, Joey.
herbivore.
Give me what I adore.
What do you adore?
I want some plants in my chimichanga. Make a yo-manga. Or like some grass and some leaves and some sprouts and shoots-a-roo. They're so tasty and delicious and nutritious too. I want some plants in my chimichanga. Make a yo-manga. Excuse you. Kangaroo hopped off with a vegetarian treat. It was my turn now to say what I'd like to eat. After all that I had seen, you'd think that I'd feel ill, but I stepped right on up. I said, I want my fill, so give me my fill. I'm an omnivore.
He's an
You remember what they eat?
omnivore.
Give me what I adore.
What do you
Meat and plants. I want some meat and plants in my chimichanga. Make a yo-manga. Or like some chicken and some beans and some good old rice-a-roo. They're so tasty, delicious, and nutritious too. I want some meat and plants in my chimichanga. Make a yo-manga. Make a yo-manga. Put your hand together for the chimichanga song. There we go. Yes. All right. Put that all aside there. Whee! Let's see. I think we're going to start off with a little song called Slimy. And from time to time, in my song, I need you all to go slimy. You can do that, right? Let's hear it. Slimy. Yeah, sounds good. Now, here we go. A bowl of cold spaghetti noodles is slimy, and noses of puffy white French poodles are slimy. A month-old slice, I said a month-old slice of bologna. What is it? And a rotten banana that's been squashed by a great big pony. What is that? But a snake's not slimy, no. A snake's not slimy, no. They're not slimy at all. That's right. They may be smooth and they could be shiny, but don't let me catch ya calling them slimy, 'cause a snake's not slimy, they're not slimy at all. That's right. Now let me explain. You see, a snake has a skin that is covered with scales made of the same kind of stuff as your fingernails. Take a look at your fingernails. Are they slimy? I hope not. They shouldn't be. They're not slimy, 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 no, no. Your nails are not slimy, 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 no, no. And a snake's not slimy, 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 no, no. A snake's not slimy. That's right. Seaweed tangled in your bare little toes. What is it? And the mysterious leftovers in the back of the fridge starting to decompose. What are they? And kinda stinky too. An octopus, an oyster, a jellyfish, an eel, a frog, and a salamander. Don't you want to feel? Well, a fish, a slug, a snail, and a squid, and a slug. Did I say that one already? I think I did. They're slimy. But a snake's not slimy, no, a snake's not slimy. They're not slimy at all, no way. They may be smooth and they could be shiny, but don't let me catch you calling them slimy, 'cause a snake's not slimy. They're not slimy at all. Let's see for those not so slimy snakies out there. Now you know, snakes are not slimy. If an animal is slimy, that means it's covered with slime, and the main ingredient, you could say, in slime is water. So any animal that's slimy has to live where there's lots and lots of water. Do snakes have to live where there's lots and lots of water? No. They need some water, but they can get by with very little because they have dry skins, not slimy skins. That's one of the things that helps keep them from drying out. It's kind of like plastic. If you feel a snake, it'll feel a lot like your fingernails. Really feel. And they cover that snake from head to tail. And I was going to say head to toe, but they don't have any toes. And it keeps the water sealed up like a plastic container. All right, so let's talk about another group of animals that is not slimy, and that would be the insects. People think insects are slimy. They're not. I don't know how we get these ideas. People obviously haven't really touched a lot of insects if they think they're slimy. And there is an insect that we actually adore here in Texas. We have a state insect. Is that the mosquito? No. Is it the cockroach? No. I said we adore them. What kind of insect do we adore? The monarch butterfly. That is exactly right. The word monarch means king or queen. They're so big, they're so beautiful. That's one reason they're called the monarch. There was also a king named William in England who had an orange and black robe. That's another reason they're called the monarch. Now, they are beautiful and they are amazing. And I got a little story about a monarch butterfly and what makes him so amazing. Once upon a summertime, there was a monarch butterfly. And she was fluttering around, going from flower to flower, looking for some sweet, juicy stuff that some flowers make called nectar. It's sort of like a sweet juice, okay? It's different from honey. We might talk about that later. It's different from pollen. We'll talk about that later too. Nectar is sort of like a sweet juice. And when butterflies find some flowers with some sweet nectar, they're going to flutter on over there and slurp it right up. Delicioso! And when she's got a belly full of nectar, she starts to look for a milkweed plant. That may not look very special to you, but those are the only plants where these guys will lay their eggs. Monarchs are very choosy, and they choose this kind of plant. She fluttered over, she left an egg on a leaf like that butterfly's doing right there, and then she flew away and left it behind. And about 4 or 5 days later, from that egg came a very hungry caterpillar. Not much bigger than a grain of rice when it first came out of that little egg. But they eat and they grow fast, and pretty soon they've got these black, white, and yellow stripes. Now, as you can see, my caterpillar puppet is not quite the right colors. They don't make a caterpillar puppet with those colors, so we're going to have to use our imagination a little bit. You can do that, right? So she came out. He came out of his egg, saw the milkweed leaves all around, and he said, "Give me some of that stuff." Burp. Ooh, excuse you. He thought they tasted great, but if you took a taste of a milkweed leaf, patooey blah. They taste terrible. They taste terrible because there is a poison in those leaves. It's not a real dangerous poison. It's not a deadly poison, but if you swallow a few down, you'd be going, uh-oh. I do not feel so good. So people don't eat them, and most animals won't eat milkweed leaves, but monarchs don't get sick. That poison doesn't hurt them. They got sort of a superpower. Yeah, that poison doesn't harm them. And they can stuff themselves full of those yucky tasting milkweed leaves, and pretty soon, they taste yucky too. And it's good to taste yucky, right? Do you want to get eaten by an animal? No! Why would you want to be delicious? It's a whole lot better to be disgusting. Yeah. And then if a bird takes a taste of it, patooey blah! They say, I'll never eat one of those again. So he did not get eaten. And he grew. And he grew. And pretty soon he was ready to start to change into a butterfly. Now next, he went under a leaf. He kind of glued his backside underneath there and hung upside down in the shape of a J. He does not read very well. His J is backwards, I know. And at the bottom of the J, about here, a little crack appeared, about where the neck would be, if a caterpillar had a neck. And they pushed through that little crack, and the old skin comes off like a big long sock. And then you have what's called a chrysalis. Now, let me show you what it looks like. We're going to play a little movie here. What I want you to do is practice the most important skill in science, and that is observing. It means you forget about what you think you know and just watch what's in front of you. Now, if you're in real life, you might be able to smell things, you might be able to hear things, you might even be able to taste or feel things. In this case, all we can do is watch. But I want you to watch, and let's practice that observation skill, and tell me what you see. When the movie's over, I'll ask for a few people to tell me some of the things they observed. Okay, now keep watching. Keep watching. It's easier to observe when you're not making noises. The changes are still happening. We have here what's called a chrysalis. Do we see a butterfly yet? No. Are we watching it become a butterfly? Not really. Not yet. We know that's going to happen one day, but forget about that for now. And tell me what you saw in that 30 seconds of caterpillar becoming a chrysalis. What'd you see? No? What? Shaking? That's a good observation. Good. It was wiggling. Do you see any legs? Do you see a head? No. It can't do much but go. Kind of like it's in a sleeping bag or something. And actually, at the end of this, that shell becomes hard. They can't even wiggle now. All they can do is change inside. What else did you see? Yeah. Yeah. What? All right, the old skin came off, didn't it? Now, if I play this one more time, it looks like the old skin kind of goes into the chrysalis. Right there. But it actually falls to the ground below. Again, this is sped up a whole lot. And we don't get to see the skin fall to the ground below. But that's exactly what happens. The skin comes off. Okay? Yes, sir? Yeah? Sometimes I'm about to call on you and I'll pull your hand back down. I guess that means you don't want me to call on you after all. Yes, sir. It was what? It was kind of sinking in. Did it get bigger or smaller? Actually, that's smaller, didn't it? Isn't that weird? It actually started off from here all the way down to the bottom. And if we watch this one more time, we'll see that it starts to get smaller about halfway through. Okay? These little lines that you see here, they kind of fold together like a crushed can or an accordion, something like that. Okay? Now, if you watch at the very end, a lot of people will watch this and they'll say, oh, I see a crack appear. It doesn't look like that, and so that's a good observation, but if you could feel it in your hand and see it up close, you'd see those are actually little black dots. It's not a crack, okay? Now, this is a chrysalis. That is a cocoon, okay? That's silky stuff right there, okay? Now, you can take these strands from some cocoons of some kinds of caterpillars, and you can make a beautiful material called silk. Have you ever felt silk? It's one of the softest, most luxurious fabrics in all the world, but it doesn't look so pretty there, does it? Now, inside, there's like a little guy called a pupa, okay? So caterpillars are kind of larvae. Like puppy is the name for a baby dog. The caterpillar is the name for the larva of a caterpillar. The middle stage is called a pupa, okay? So this is a pupa, and that is also a pupa. This pupa has a special name. We call that pupa a chrysalis. Okay, so that's the difference between these words. Some people get a little confused. Now, if you come back in about a week, you can see another big change. Now the wing is showing through. The outer skin has become clear, and you can see that wing folded up inside. And when it looks like that, pretty soon it's going to wiggle. And it's going to stretch. Whoa. And it's going to push. Wah. And it's going to bust out of that chrysalis. Ta-da! And emerge. Are you ready to see that? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now watch the wings. My favorite sound to hear when I show somebody something like this is, whoa. That's what I like to hear. All right. Those wings get a lot bigger, don't they? All right. That's something that you learn by watching. When you hear about this, people describe this. They usually don't describe how small the wings are. When they first come out, they're kind of shrunken. Okay? And those wings are kind of floppy. You can tell that. Now, wetness is something you'd have to feel. We can't feel this, and we really can't see the wetness. So that's something that you know. But when we watch, one more time here, when we watch, we can see those wings get bigger. So that is a good observation we can make. Look how thick that abdomen is at first. It's very fat back there. All right, now watch carefully. Keep your eye on the leftover chrysalis. Okay, now when it's over, tell me this. Did it eat the leftover chrysalis? No. You see it there, right? That means it didn't eat it. Okay? The chrysalis is still there and it's left behind. They really cannot eat it. It looks like it's chewing, but it's actually just pumping those wings up. Okay? So again, you have to trust your eyes. Sometimes we hear things, but when you experience things for yourselves, this is really what science is built on, is people learning by watching and observing the natural world. And that's one of my favorite things, because you can make all kinds of discoveries for yourself, rather than just read about it. Now that is called a metamorphosis. When you start with one kind of body, and then when you're all grown up, you've got a different kind of body, that's a metamorphosis. So lots of creatures do that. Bees and ants and dragonflies and, for that matter, squids and clams and all kinds of creatures go through a metamorphosis. Do we? No. We got 2 legs, 2 arms when we're first born. When we're all old and gray, we're going to have 2 legs and 2 arms. Probably not going to grow a set of wings, right? I wish we would, but we're not going to grow a set of wings. So we don't go through a metamorphosis like so many other creatures do. And this is a song about somebody else that goes through a metamorphosis. This guy right here. A metamorphosis, metamorphosis. Well, I'm gonna be more than this. Wait and see. Looks like a fish. Metamorphosis, a metamorphosis. I'm gonna transform from this tadpole to a frog. All right now, we gotta get a little froggy groove going on. Gather around the pond, little tadpoles. Once upon a wet fly, I was stuck inside an egg eye. There wasn't very much to see, so I wiggled and I broke free. Kinda looking like a fishy, with my tail going swishy. I got gills on my neck, I got no legs yet, but just you wait and you will see. Metamorphosis, I metamorphosis. Well, I'm gonna be more than this. Just wait and see. All right, help me sing it now. Metamorphosis, you got it. Metamorphosis, sounding good. Gonna transform from this tadpole into a. Now the days go by, and pretty soon things are beginning to change. Everybody look at me, more like a frog I'm beginning to be. I'm kicking with my little back legs back there, growing lungs for breathing air. Does my tail look smaller to you? Coming true. I'm a transformer, it is true. Soon the front legs gonna sprout, and my eyes will start bugging out. I always believe, and in sweet time, I know that I will achieve. Here's your part now. Metamorphosis, let's hear it. Metamorphosis, you got it. We're gonna be more than this. Wait and see, a little louder. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis. I'm gonna transform from this tadpole into a frog. That's right. Next, the tail starts to get shorter and shorter and shorter. And its tongue gets longer and longer and longer. And then when the tail's all gone, you got a cute little green frog. Which becomes a great big, not so cute green frog. Coming soon to a lily pad near you. A little green frog is so brand new. And I'll be hopping on the riverside, boy, hunting for a dragonfly. Gonna catch you with my long and my sticky tongue. Then take a deep breath with my new lung. I'll sing a song in the sun for this new life I've begun. So just you wait, 'cause I guarantee a metamorphosis, boy, a metamorphosis, boy. Gonna be more than this, boy. Wait and see, boy. Metamorphosis, hello, a metamorphosis. Yeah, I'm gonna transform from this tadpole into a frog. One more time. I'm gonna transform from this tadpole into a frog. Put your hands together for the tadpoles out there. Woohoo! Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, sounded good. Now, I'm gonna go back to this guy. He had just completed his own metamorphosis. Came out of that thing, it was not a cocoon, it was a chrysalis or a pupa, and was going from flower to flower, slurping up the sweet nectar. And then he woke up on the first chilly day of the fall. And do you know what he said on the first chilly day of the fall? He said, "It's getting cold. Me no likey." So he started thinking about it. He went, Then he got an idea. Bing! I got it! He gathered up his monarch butterfly buddies. He looked at them and said, "I got an idea. I know this great spot Down in Mexico, yeah. And then he will. The other butterflies look at him. They look at him and they're saying, man, that mariposa, he got to be loco. It's over 2,000 miles down to Mexico. We're just little bitty butterflies. He said, oh yeah, well you stay up here all winter long. What you gonna do when it gets really cold, huh? What you gonna do when it starts snowing on your head? You're gonna freeze your antennae off, that's what you're gonna do. And they say, we don't wanna freeze our antennae off. We better give it a try. So they start flapping those wings and flying, and they are small, but they go a long way. They could start way up in the northern USA, or even all the way up here in Canada, at the top of the map there, okay? And they're going to fly all the way down to this part of Mexico, down in south central Mexico, up in the mountains. It doesn't get so cold down there. Now, as they migrate, they come right through Texas. All right, there's water on one side of Texas, right here, and there are mountains on the other side of Texas, right there, and that brings them all right through our state. So we get to see them mostly in October, and they're down there in Mexico now, covering the branches. There's that whoa I like to hear. Look at all those butterflies. Whoa. Look at all those butterflies. Whoa, indeed. Millions and millions. They're covering the branches. They're covering the whole trees down there in Mexico. Now, it's impossible to count them all. It takes somebody a whole lifetime. But scientists have some good ways of making guesses or estimates. And most years, they estimate about 50 million monarch butterflies. The last couple of years. That's a lot. It wasn't long ago we had more like 200, 300, 400 million monarch butterflies. So we're actually seeing the number decline. There's still a lot. But we want to try to make sure this keeps on happening. And so one of the things that we can do here in the USA is to plant some milkweed plants in our gardens, and our neighborhoods, and our schools. And when the mama monarchs find those milkweed plants, they will stop and lay some eggs. From the eggs will come some very hungry caterpillars, which eat and grow until they are ready to become this thing called a chrysalis. And from the chrysalis comes a brand new butterfly. And if it's a mama, one day she'll lay another egg and start the whole thing again. From egg to larva to pupa to adult. That is the life cycle of most insects. Now I'm going to do a little song about the life cycle of a monarch butterfly right now, and it goes like this. Before it gets cold. Now when I sing that, I would like y'all to go. Let's hear it. Before it gets cold. Good job. And it starts to snow. When I sing that, you go, snow, snow, snow. Let's hear it. Snow, snow, snow. Good job. I'm gonna go. Yes, I'm gonna go down to Mexico. Now, if I could ask y'all to hang on to that clapping. This is a hard song to clap along with. It doesn't have any drums along with it. So if you'll save that clapping until the end, I think you'll enjoy the song more. Okay? Now, the next part goes like this. Listen so you can help me sing. I'm gonna fly, fly, fly. Fly, fly, fly. Fly, fly, fly down to Mexico. Can you sing that with me? Let's give it a try. Here we go. Well, I'm gonna fly, fly, fly. Fly, fly, fly. Fly, fly, fly down to Mexico. All right, that sounds good. And if you feel like flapping your wings, you can flap your wings. Here's my part. It goes like this. Well, I used to be a caterpillar. Hang on to that clapping. A little bitty caterpillar. Thank you. Chewing on a milkweed stem. You know I couldn't fly back then, but I began a metamorphosis. Yeah, I wrapped myself inside my chrysalis. I grew and I changed inside. I turned into a monarch butterfly before it gets cold. It starts to snow, 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 snow. I'm gonna go down to Mexico. All right, here's your part. Help me out. I'm gonna fly, fly, fly. Fly, 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 fly down to Mexico. All right, sound good? Here come my part again. I turned into a butterfly, late this summertime, and I spent those nice warm days up in the North United States, sticking out my long, long thumb. Tasting flowers in the sun, but winter is on the way. It's gonna get too cold to play. Here we go. Before it gets cold, it starts to snow, 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 snow. Well, I'm gonna go down to Mexico. Here's your bar, flap those wings. Gonna fly, 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 fly down to Mexico. Here comes one more for you now. One more verse. So when you see this butterfly, you see this butterfly flutter by. Now blow a little kiss and wave, and wish me luck along the way, because I got so far to go, all the way to the mountains of April. Winters aren't so cold down there. I'll be back when spring is in the air. One last time before it gets cold. It starts to snow, 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 snow. I'm gonna go down to Mexico. All right, one last time. I'm gonna fly, 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 fly down to Mexico. All right, put your hands together for the monarch butterfly. State insect. Oh, Texas. All right. Let's do one now about another one of our state symbols. Let's see how long it takes you to figure out who that is. I have given you a clue. It's a state symbol. Make sure you're using your eyes. Is that an animal or a plant? It's a plant. Is a plant alive? Yeah, they grow. They have a life cycle just like we do. Yes, plants are alive. If you think you want to take a guess, raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. A what? It looks like a cactus, doesn't it? It's not a cactus, though. That's a good guess. You're using your eyes. That's a good guess. What do you think? It is kind of furry. Those are soft little hairs. This is a tiny little plant. It's about as big as your thumbnail right now. Okay? So it looks like spines on a cactus, but they're soft, furry little hairs. Yeah? A what? It is a plant. Do you know what kind of plant? It's a state symbol. Yeah? It's a bluebonnet. Give that young lady a hand. That's right. This is what they'll look like this month. This is about the time when they start pushing up through the soil. They grow somewhere between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. That picture was taken on the 2nd of January a couple years back. Now, in January and February, they spread out and get their stems and these little star clusters of leaves like you see there. And then at the end of February, if you're paying attention, you might see some of those flowers. All right? Now, the flower has a job to do for the plant. The flower's job is making seeds. What do flowers make? Seeds. Try not to forget that. Now, to make a seed, a flower needs pollen, which is hidden on a bluebonnet. Each one of these little things is a little bit like a basketball goal. You see what I mean? It's got a little square. It's got a backboard. And where the basket is where the pollen is hidden. So you can pull those petals down gently, and inside there's a little cow horn thing, and that orange stuff right there is the pollen. It's really small, but you can see it if you look closely. Now, who's going to carry that pollen around, do you know? Bees. Bees pick up that pollen. Now, the thing with bluebonnets is they don't actually make any nectar. And bees are one of the few animals that can eat pollen. The grown-up bees don't eat it, but the baby bees do, the little larvae. So the grown-ups go and they collect that pollen in these little pockets, and then they take it back to the hive and feed it to their babies. And a little bit of pollen is sticking to its fuzzy-wuzzy body right there. And when it lands on another bluebonnet, a little pollen will drop off that fuzzy-wuzzy body, and then that flower over here can start to make its seeds. Flowers make seeds. The seeds are down here in these little pods. They're kind of green and fuzzy at first, and by the end of May, that beautiful field of bluebonnets looks like that. Do you want to take a picture there? It doesn't look so pretty anymore, but this is a really important part of their life cycle. Pretty soon those pods pop open, and the seeds get down in the soil. And then you can cut them down if you want to. But it's important to leave them until the very end. That way those seeds can get in the soil and grow in the next fall. So if you come back where that picture was taken, next spring you're going to see a whole bunch of bluebonnets, all those pods full of seeds. And this song might come to mind. By the roadside, beautiful blanket of blue, blue blossom. So pretty, you plop your baby it up, or your girlfriend, you snap their photo, grinning like possums. Happy family, smiling for grandma with cowboy hats and their chihuahua. Makes it go, yeehaw, it's blue bonnet. Bluebonnet, bluebonnet time. Yeah, it's bluebonnet, it's bluebonnet, bluebonnet time. A long time you get it sore behind. Take a closer look at a blossom blue and bold. When there's a white spot, fresh flower they've got, it turns purple when the pollen is getting old. Two petals cupped together like hands in prayer. Take a look inside, find the pollen in there. You can see it right there, yeah, right there. Well, it's bluebonnet, it's bluebonnet, bluebonnet time. Yeah, it's bluebonnet, it's bluebonnet. Bluebonnet time. Oh, the bees are breezing by your feet and your knees, and with the buzzing sound, they carry pollen round. Flowers receive it, would you believe it? Then they can make the seeds. Thank those humble bees for bluebonnet time. That's right. It's warming up now, heat wave, holy cow. Bee pods appearing as the flowers are fading. Here come the month of June, seeds are popping out soon. Down in the soil, they're patiently waiting. Off for the earth to take another trip around the sun. Before you know it, another spring has sprung. We're going, yee-haw, that's right. It's blue, honey, it's blue. Whoops, hang on a minute. Get caught up here. I forgot to show you some pictures. Okay, there's my flowers. Well, it's blue, honey, bluebonnet time. What is she doing out there? A bluebonnet is bluebonnet, bluebonnet time. All right, put your hands together for the bluebonnets. Woo! All righty. Sometimes between playing guitar, singing, and controlling this thing, I forget to do something, which is what happened there. All right, let's do one now about the bees. Bees are pretty important. Now, they collect pollen and they collect nectar. Nectar's kind of thin and watery, and they want to thicken it up and turn it into honey. So they fan their wings, and what happens is a lot of the water evaporates away, and it leaves that thick, syrupy honey behind. And we like to eat that stuff. So you're going to see the life cycle of a honeybee in this next song, and it goes like this. honeybee. Take a look and see how I'm giving it up for the hive. Yeah, everything I do is just an effort to keep it strong and alive. We all used to be the little larvae, just a bunch of little wormy dudes. Without a thing to do, we just ate and grew while the worker bees brought us our food. Yabba dabba dooba, I was a super duper pupa, chilling in my honeycomb cell. A metamorphosis, and I was all of this, a worker bee with this tale to tell. Was a lot to do, so I got right to doing my part for the hive. Yeah, I took a turn feeding all the little larvae, eating me bread to help them grow and thrive. When it got hot, we fan our wings a lot. We were the air-conditioning guys. We were buzzing by the dozen, and we wouldn't if it wasn't all for the good of the hive. It's all about the hive. It's all about the hive. We want to stay alive, so we take care of our hive. That's it. It's all about the hive. Oh yeah, it's all about the hive. A little wise child, take care of your hive. All right, get your antennae on now. Well, I've got a new job. I'm on the honey squad, turning nectar into honey first rate. I take the nectar from the collectors when they fly back and regurgitate. But nectar's too watery, so I gotta be fanning my wings all day long. Water evaporates when we ventilate. We get it concentrated and strong. Then we seal it in a honeycomb, food for the whole home. I help the whole hive to survive. Yeah, if you want the honey, honey, you gotta take care of the hive. It's all about the hive. Let's hear it. It's all about the hive. We wanna stay alive, so we take care of our hive. That's right. It's all about the hive. It's all about the hive. A little word of the wise child, take care of your hive. That's right. Well, I'm older now and I venture out, pollen nectar to find. Such a pretty sight, flowers blooming bright to tell me that it's dinner time. And now I grab it to go back to my honeycomb. I know the secret to survive. Yeah, if you want to take care of the me, you gotta take care of your hive. It's all about the hive. One more time. It's all about the hive. Let's hear it. We want to stay alive, so we take care of our hive. That's right. It's all about the hive. It's all about the hive. A little word of the wise child. Take care of your hive. We take care of your hive. Take care of your hive. All right, let's hear for the honeybees out there. You may not live in a real hive, but that's our hive. Planet Earth, we've got to do our little part to take care of that beautiful planet, just like the bees do their thing, to take care of the places where they live. And that's the lesson of that song. Now, we've got time for one more, I think. Do a little time check. I think we'll get at least one more. And this one is about a beautiful creature called an ocelot. Ocelot. Looks like a cheetah. It's got spots like a cheetah, or a leopard. More like a leopard spots, actually. Or a jaguar. Sometimes this is called the dwarf leopard because it's smaller. It's about twice as big as a house cat. So if you've got a cat at home, think about that cat being twice as big. Now they live here in Texas. There are only about 75 of them, though. We used to have a few thousand, but their numbers have been dropping for about the last 100 years to the point where we just have about 75. Now, one of the problems is that people used to hunt them for their skins. They wanted to wear those ocelot skins, ocelot spots on jackets and pants and purses and stuff like that. Now, these days, we don't have to take an animal to make something look like it came from an ocelot. We can make that in a factory. So, fortunately, people are not hunting for them much anymore. But there is another kind of spot they need that is harder and harder for them to find. It's a spot to live. Do they want to live in a desert? A front lawn? A field of crops? Or a thorn scrub? Which one do you think? All right, if you said D, you are correct. They love these thick, thorny, scrubby places like that right there. There we go. Now that may not be the kind of space you like to play in. You probably don't want your yard to look like that. I don't really want my yard to look like that either. But if we take all of this and make it into crops and front lawns, where can the ocelot live? Nowhere. They've got to have a little bit of habitat. So we're saving some spots for them. And this is a national wildlife refuge. So it's kind of like a national park, but it's not really for people, it's for animals. So we've got some land, a lot of land set aside in Texas for different animals. And this is one that is the last home in Texas for the ocelot. And the people that live there, that work there, asked me to write a little ocelot song. So I'm going to do an ocelot song for you. And it goes like this. How many spots has an ocelot got? Has an ocelot got? A lot of ocelot spots. How many spots has an ocelot got? Maybe not as many as you thought. Well, I'm an ocelot and I'm looking for my spots. Yes, I got a lot of the black polka dots, but there's another kind of spot that I need a lot to hunt and to raise my little tots. I'm an ocelot, who can I find the spots? All right, help me now. How many spots has an ocelot got? Has an ocelot got? A lot of ocelot spots. How many spots has an ocelot got? Maybe not as many as you thought. I'm from the tip of Texas where it's scrubby and it's hot. Yeah, that's the kind of spot that my own good mama sought. Oh, she taught me to hunt in these thorny, scrubby spots. I'm looking for my own Texas plot, and I will not share with any ocelot. How many spots has an ocelot got? Has an ocelot got? A lot of ocelot spots. How many spots has an ocelot got? Maybe not as many as you thought. Is that a good ocelot spot? Nah. Is that a good ocelot spot? Nah. Is that a good ocelot spot? Nah. There's a nice ocelot spot. You see, I like that a lot. Long ago in Texas, there were lots of ocelots, but cattle, roads, and fences, it's broad. There's a battle being fought to save us ocelots. Come on, folks, don't let it be for naught. Won't you give this ocelot a lot of spots? One more time. How many spots has an ocelot got? Has an ocelot got? A lot of ocelot spots. How many spots has an ocelot got? Maybe not as many, itty bitty any, but we can give them plenty of this spots. All right, put your hands together for those ocelots up there. All right. Let's see, I think we got time for one more little song for you. This one is called Animals Rock. And I need everybody out there, when I say animals rock, to bang your heads. Yeah. Like a rock and roll star. Let's give it a try. Here we go. Well, animals rock, bang your heads. Animals roll. When I say animals roll, you go, yeah. Let's hear it. Animals roll. Well, animals climb up on your head and lose control. Blah! You got a handle on that. Some animals are hip. Kind of hard to do in the chairs, but give it a try. Some animals are hip. And some animals hop. Your animals are flop into the water with a belly air flop. Splash! You got it. All right now. Some animals hiss. Let's hear it. Some animals howl. Oh! Some animals buzz. Some animals growl. That was scary. Some animals bellow. Blue. And some of them tweet. He's so pretty. Some of them snort, and some of them peep. Beep, 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 beep. But they all got a way to help out. A place where they're running about. Let me hear you shout. Woo! Get ready, here we go now. Whale animals rock, bang your heels. An animal roll, yeah. An animal climb up on your head and they lose control. Blah! Some animals hip, and some animals hop, hoppity hop. Animals flop into the water with a belly flop. Splash! You got it. Now some of them slither. Let me see you slither. Some flap their wings. Some of them wiggle. Some will give you a sting. Some wag their tails. Some of them play dead. Look, I'm dead. Some change their colors to green, purple, and red. I can't do that. But they've all got a way to help out. A place where they drum about. Let me hear you shout. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Get ready, here we go now. A whale animal's rockin'. An animal roll. Yeah! An animal climb up on your head and I lose control. Blah! Some animals hip. And some animals hop. Hoppity hop. Animals flop into the water with a belly. Flop into the water with a belly. Flop into the water with the belly. Flop. Splash. Put your hands together for the animals out there. That's what it's all about. All right. Now, we're going to give you a chance to ask a couple questions here in a sec. But before we get to that, we really have to thank a few people. First of all, the staff here at the CAC works super hard. There are people working here, and their job is getting us all together. So let's hear it for the people that work here. Yes, indeed. It's no small undertaking. And we also have to thank these guys called the Texas Commission on the Arts, which is those guys right there. They helped really pay a lot of the money that made this happen. So they're a great organization, and I owe so much to the Texas Commission on the Arts. If you like my songs and my stories, I got a lot of stuff on YouTube. You can look me up. My channel is called Singing Zoologist. And I've got some of my songs as music videos, like the Ocelot song, pretty much every song you saw. I'm also making videos to help you learn these science terms that you might be unfamiliar with. So you can tune in there. I got lots of stuff coming regularly this year. Now, I've also got a website, so if you want to find out when I'm doing another show, sometimes people say, man, I wish I could see some more. I'll be doing a show at the Temple Library in December, so I'd encourage you to check out my calendar on there. Come on out and see another program. Let's take some of those questions. Now, if your hand's up, you have something you want me to tell you. Okay, that's a little different than a story that you want to tell me. So please, if we could, let's try to stick to questions. Maybe you want to know something more about ocelots, or maybe you want to know something more about monarch butterflies, or maybe you want to know something more about snakes. We've talked about a lot of stuff. What do you want to learn? Yes, ma'am. What do ocelots what? Why do they have, well, the spots on their coat are there for camouflage. Any kind of spot like that helps you hide in the bushes and the stuff like that, the scrubby stuff. Most cats have spots to help them hide in the underbrush, is what it's called. And those spots really do a great job of helping them blend in. May not seem like it, they do. Yes, sir. Is there such a thing as big snakes? Yep. Mm-hmm. There are a number of big snakes. The heaviest snake is the green anaconda, which we know for sure gets 250 pounds and might get more like 400 or 500 pounds. Okay? That's huge. The longest snake, it's not as heavy, but it's longer, it's called the reticulated python. And some of those have been found 30 feet long, which is about as long as a school bus. It's huge. So yes, there are some things as giant snakes. Now here in Texas, we don't have any of those. They don't live here. We don't have anything you'd consider a giant snake in Texas. We're fortunate in our part of the world. The The majority of snakes are non-venomous, so you don't want to mess with them, but most of the snakes that are here in Texas really aren't that dangerous to people, but you want to remember to leave them all alone. All right, and did you have a question? Okay, go ahead. What are butterflies made of? That's a good question. The same thing that we are, basically. We're made of cells. Now, if you were to look at something under a microscope, a living thing under a microscope, you will find cells. Every living thing is made of cells, which are these tiny little, they're like little building blocks, like little Lego blocks. And they do different jobs. So you've got brain cells. Have you heard of brain cells? Okay. Muscle cells. Okay. They make your arms and your body move. So just like us, butterflies are made of these individual cells. That's something that you'll learn about a little bit later in your school. Most of the time, that's junior high or elementary school. Yes, sir. You forget? You want to know about lizards? Is there something in particular you want to know? Yeah, so you kind of have to have something more, a little bit more. Yeah. Lizards are pretty closely related to snakes. There are even some lizards with a flickering tongue like a snake. So they're closely related, kind of like snakes with legs. Yeah. Actually, there's some lizards that don't have legs, believe it or not. You might say, how's that different from a snake? Snakes have their eyes always open. A lizard without legs has eyelids like you and I do. They can blink and close their eyes. But there are some lizards that have no legs. Yes, sir. Okay, so guys, you need to have something particular you want to know. Don't just, if you want to learn about zebras, I've got a great idea for you. Go to the library. Let's see, I think it's the 580s and 590s in the Dewey Decimal System have books about animals. There's going to be a book about zebras. There's going to be a book about lizards. There's going to be a book about whales, butterflies, whatever you want to learn about. The library is still the best place, the easiest place for you to learn about animals. Okay, there's some great stuff on the internet, but for kids, I still think the library's better. Excuse me. Felt that one coming on. All right, last question, and then we better set you all free. Thank you all for listening. Yes? Can snakes climb? Yes. I'm trying to think of a snake that cannot climb. There may be one that cannot climb, but every snake I can think of at the moment can climb. They have to find things to kind of curve their body over and then push themselves up like a branch, or maybe even just bark on the tree. Gives them enough that they can wind slowly up that tree. So yeah, they're good at climbing. Did you know there's a gliding snake, like a flying squirrel? There's a snake that can glide through the air. It climbs up in a tree and then it glides down to another tree. Hey, that'll give some people nightmares. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Y'all have been awesome. Thanks again for y'all coming out. I want to thank the teachers too, because I know it's no small effort getting these guys on buses. And thank you for hanging in there with me. Y'all have a great day. I'll be over here if anybody's got questions. I've got books, CDs, all that kind of stuff. So let me know. Remember to play the chimichanga song. I'd like you to chimichanga song.